Test one. Check, mic 1.
Good evening, and welcome to the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Bonsall Unified School District Board of Trustees for the month of February. Thank you all for being here. We'll start with a roll call, starting with our student board member.
Isla Nicknom, present.
Eric Ortega here.
Rachel Dombrowski.
Roger Marchat here.
Michael Gaddis here.
And Larissa Anderson here. If we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, kindly. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Prior to being here in open session, the board met in closed session where we considered the appointment, employment, evaluation of performance, discipline, transfer, or dismissal of employees, Government Code 54957. We discussed our position regarding the collective bargaining with the Bonsall Teachers Association and the California School Employees Association, chapter number 703, in order to direct the superintendent as chief negotiator in the matter of BTA and CSCA contracts, and also looked at the superintendent evaluation as per public employee performance evaluation, Government Code 54957. With that, we are at the approval of the current agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the minutes for the board study session of January 7th, as well as the regular meeting of January 15th. Is there a motion to approve?
Well, I had a question. There was, we in the board meeting, we had a vote on the survey, and it didn't show up in the.
Yeah, it was in there. Yes, it was in there. I made the motion, Rachel seconded it.
Right, but I didn't see it in
And
the
the
minutes.
vote was 4-1.
I didn't see it in the minutes.
That was,
And maybe I missed it in the minutes, but I didn't see it in the minutes.
that was
Is
from
it
the
in the
minutes.
minutes? It would be the board meeting.
You remember that, right?
There was information items, presentation, facilities, planning update. Member Ortega motioned and Member Dombrowski seconded that the facilities survey is currently constructed and presented to staff on January 12th, be prepared for distribution to the wider BUSD community. Dr. Gali will include links to define terms and provide context as discussed. So it is in there.
With the
With the
vote.
votes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our reports. So Dr. Heather Gali, as the superintendent, you are to lead the way.
Good evening, esteemed board members, Mrs. McInerney and BUSD community. I'm thrilled to be welcoming you to our February board meeting. And I'm sure you know that February is globally recognized as the month of love. And I can't think of a better demonstration of love than to see students organizing a record-breaking blood drive at Bonsall High School. I'm not sure if you saw this in any of the announcements, but on January 16th, we had 41 donors give 27 units of blood, which is enough to save, I think, up to 81 lives at local hospitals. This is truly phenomenal. Yes. Amazing, and such a wonderful representation of our values in action. And this weekend, as we celebrate love and connection on February 14th, I wanted to highlight another huge celebration. It's very fitting that we get to recognize someone whom we all love and appreciate in Bonsall Unified. I'd like to announce, very, very special. Oh, look at the suspense. Oh my goodness, what suspense. It's on. Okay. Can you just go ahead and advance the slide while we fix this? I am extremely excited to announce our very own Mrs. Gina McInerney has just been announced as the San Diego County School Board Association Confidential Administrative Staff of the Year for 2026. Woohoo! This is a huge honor. We are incredibly proud. Gina, yes, let's have definitely a picture of Gina. Yes, with this, it's larger than her body, I think. It's huge. Yes. I think so, yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. The whole board. So you're gonna need the whole board for this one, but there were a lot of nominations that went in for Gina, and there were a lot of people that were nominated. And of people that we know in our organization who on a daily basis set the bar and show the values, show the kindness, are always there, have all of the historical knowledge in the district, I think, and maybe in Fallbrook and Bonsall combined. She truly is fantastic. So I am so thrilled that she's going to be recognized. The recognition will be in April, and we'll definitely have lots of great pictures after that event, and the board will be given opportunity to attend that as well. But we're very, very excited. Gina, we love you in this month of February. You are so, so deserving. So thank you for all you do. So great. And I'm going to say the accolades continue because last night we had, was that just last night? Okay, we had valedictory circle at Bonsall High School, and this group that you see up here are the students from Bonsall High School who have the highest GPAs. But what I can say is truly special about these students is it's not just their GPAs. In a small environment, our students are able to participate in so many different activities and events and clubs and sports, everything. And these students, the way I saw them shine, but then support each other for shining is just very, very special. And they were all so supportive of each other. And our very own Isla Nicknom was named valedictorian. '26 valedictorian, she and the salutatorian Leo Preston. Clap, clap, clap. They will both be giving speeches at our graduation event, and both of them are just phenomenal representations of exactly what we want to produce in Bonsall Unified. You really represent us so beautifully. And some of the things that I'm going to announce tonight, I'm going to keep looking at you, because if it was something that you were going to share in your board report, I'm going to ask that you just kind of go, no, okay? Because some of the things might overlap, okay? But as I just said, Isla, the whole valedictory circle, all those students organizing the blood drive, all of these are wonderful representations of our vision and our mission and our learner profile. So again, it's fitting. Isla, would you please read our vision and our mission for us?
I can. Okay. Our Bonsall Unified vision is that all students in Bonsall Unified District engage in rigorous and relevant learning experiences that inspire them to be productive community members and future-ready lifelong leaders. And our mission is that we empower all students to thrive in a positive, safe, and supportive environment through high-quality education focused on the whole learner.
Thank you. And in that circle to the right there, those are our learner profile outcomes. And that means that is what we hope to foster in our students as skills and attributes by the time they leave us. So what I wanted to do is just highlight a few examples of where we see this learner profile in action. And I'm going to start with engaged community member. And this just happens to be some pictures of some of the things that have been happening around town recently. I want to thank our board members for all of their activities. Roger, I didn't get that picture of you on that site tour. I couldn't find it. But we have visits to our schools that our board members are doing. There's Trustee Gaddis with a kindergartner, whether they're planning art show that we have coming up, speaking to our students in our symposium class, facilitating Lions Club speech contests. We have lots of great models from our board members of engaged community members, and we appreciate that. We also want our students, of course, to be problem solvers. And I thought this picture was a good example of some of our problem solvers. This is the group of students who are on our Superintendent Student Advisory Council. We met in January and brought them together and heard a little bit about what they think is wonderful in Bonsall Unified and what they would like to see for the future. And we need to listen as much as possible to our students because they have great answers and great ideas, and they are becoming excellent problem solvers. We also have incredibly effective communicators. Is this something you were going to share, Isla? Okay, then all I'm going to say right now, because we'll save it for her board report, I will say that our mock trial team at the high school is a superb example of effective communicators, and you will hear more from Isla about their recent incredible accomplishments. We also have across our district resilient learners. And as I walk through classrooms and I see some of the events, there is so much to celebrate, so many ways that our students are, in this case over here on the left, working through our new math curriculum, Eureka Math Squared, and really working with the mathematical standards for practice and becoming resilient learners in math, getting recognized for their achievements and their really hard work and efforts. If they're engaging in hands-on science experiments, we see students across the district as resilient learners, and we value that. We also value empathetic collaborators. And in this picture, this little collage, what I see is joy. I see a lot of joy. I see students who like working together, who understand what it means that we get farther when we collaborate and when we empathize and understand each other. And that's something we value and we grow as well. And of course, critical thinker. And this one is so incredibly important. You know that in today's environment, we need critical thinking more than ever. If you look at World Economic Forum and you find out what are some of the top skills of 2026, critical thinking is going to be one of the highest. And what you see here is Mrs. Armijo who is such a fantastic asset in our organization. This is her Law and Leadership Academy at the CSUSM Innovation Hub. And at this experience, and our students in all of our academies get to go to CSUSM and participate in an Innovation Hub experience. They attended here and they got to learn about the logistics of starting and running their own business. And during the visit, they got to explore what are foundational steps of entrepreneurship and idea development. Really wonderful. In the middle, you see our BHS battle bots, and those are students that are trying to beat each other, have the best robot in order to compete. We see a peer-led reading group off to the right so that teachers are able to work with students who might need a different type of assistance, and students are actually running a reading group, a little station. Trustee Gaddis, you saw that when we were over at Bonsall Elementary. And then down on the left, this is our teacher, Mr. Shaw, who is the coach for our esports program. All of these are just examples of our students who are curious, they're engaged, and they're becoming future ready. And we need to celebrate that, and we need to make sure we remind ourselves that all of the experiences we are trying to craft for them need to be in line with this vision, this mission, and also these learner profile outcomes. Now, we know we could not do any of that unless we were engaging our families and unless we had the support of our families. Behind me, I'm so very excited to see parents who are willing to come to our board members so that their students can shine and share some of their talents. And we see this across the whole district. This is our Community Engagement Initiative team. I want to applaud them again. They've been hosting monthly family literacy and STEM nights, and the attendance is skyrocketing, and I know it's because they've expanded their team, and their team is really reaching out and trying to include more families, and they're enjoying the experiences. But it couldn't happen if we didn't have the amazing families that we have here in Bonsall, and we're really grateful. We do have some upcoming engagement opportunities. The next Family Literacy and STEM Night is on Thursday, February 26th. It's right here, but they transform this entire environment and use all of the spaces in the community center, and they're bringing in awesome STEM activities to this literacy night. We have a multicultural event coming up on February 27th at Bonsall Elementary, and I know the principals who are going to be reporting tonight, Principal Calabrese and also Principal Camacho, will be sharing what's happening at their sites, because there is no shortage of opportunities for families to be involved and for students to be able to shine. So you're going to get to hear from them. And of course, we have upcoming opportunities for our entire community, our families, staff, anyone who's interested, to come to town hall meetings so that we can make sure that we are engaging with as many stakeholders as possible. Very exciting. Now, in this month of February, celebrating love and connection, I'm really excited that we're going to move directly now to celebrating some people in our organization and in our community who have really done exemplary things, and we want to make sure that we recognize them tonight. So I'm going to bring up Mr. Williams.
All right. Well, good evening, President Anderson and Board of Trustees, Dr. Gawley and Ms. McInerney. Tonight, we're really excited to celebrate and recognize Lexi and Jess Etchemendy of Wave on Wave Hair Salon. We'd like to call them up to the podium right now for a special community recognition. So if you folks could come on up and join me. Let's give them a round of applause. And yeah, you just face the board there. They want to see you. And so we're so proud to partner with them. And let me tell you a little bit about the Etchemendys, then I'll tell you what they've done for students here in the community. The Etchemendys relocated to Bonsall community from Bismarck, North Dakota. So we're glad they came out to California. Oh, he is. Okay, point of clarification. I didn't catch that in the interview. So Southern California and Bismarck, North Dakota. And so when they did join here about 5 years ago, they came to our community. And after opening Wave on Wave Hair Salon, they were warmly welcomed into the community, and they built a business that reflects both professionalism and generosity. While living in Bismarck, Lexi worked at a salon that partnered with a local school to provide free back-to-school haircuts for students who otherwise may not have had access to them. That experience stayed with her. When Lexi and Jess moved to Bonsall, they wanted to bring that same spirit of service to our community, but with a special twist. Their vision was not only to provide students with high-quality haircuts, but to give them a salon experience, helping them feel confident and valued as they started the school year. Over the past 2 years, Wave on Wave Hair Salon has generously provided these services to students in our district and has even added a mid-year event to extend their support. Lexi shared that the gratitude from students and families has been overwhelming. And one of the most memorable moments that she shared with me is that the boys, when they come into the salon, there's a lot of their employees that join them in providing the free haircuts. But the boys will say, they'll say, here's a chair, it's open. And they'll say, no, I want to wait for him because Jess is the barber. So they want the barber haircut with Jess. And so they'll wait for it. Lexi and Jess have also invited their entire salon team to volunteer. And so it just speaks volumes about the workplace culture that they have here in Bonsall when employees enthusiastically participate in providing this service to our students. Because of this team effort, every 30 minutes, 10 students leave with a fresh, professional haircut and a boost of confidence. We are so grateful for this partnership. It shows so much generosity and goodwill. We really appreciate you and thank you so much. We have a special award for you. And we'd love to have a picture here. One more round of applause for the Etchemendis. By the way, you can book a haircut or salon appointment online through their website, so it's a great way to support. All right. So at this time, we want to recognize an employee group, and that will be our BUSD counselors. So if I could have Andy, Carrie, and Megan come on up, please. Could join, all three of you join me at the front. All right, fantastic. And the first week of February is designated as Counselor Appreciation Week, and it is fitting that we take this opportunity to recognize the incredible work of our school counselors, what they do each day in service of students and families in our district. And we just didn't bring you up because it's Counselor Appreciation Week. We brought them up because they're outstanding people doing great work at our elementary schools, our middle schools, and our high school in the community. I just gave a plural to our middle school. We just have one, but we do have 3 elementary schools, and so they represent those schools, and it's a great service that they share with students. I wanted to read a little bit about each one of them and what they do at their sites. So I'm going to start with Andy, and we can bring over their certificates right now and get them in their hands. Thank you so much. I would like to first recognize Andy Mata and the vital role she plays. Round of applause, we'll take it. And the vital role she plays in supporting students at Bonsall West Elementary and Vivian Banks Charter School. Andy aligns her counseling vision with district priorities and implements a comprehensive, purpose-driven program that supports students academically, socially, and emotionally. Her annual plan includes intentional lessons connected to Leader in Me habits and district learner profiles that you heard about earlier, as well as the thoughtful use of data to support attendance, behavior, and academic success. through crisis support, individualized office hours, and programs such as the Reading Room, Project Dandelion, and the Student Lighthouse team. Andy creates meaningful opportunities for student growth and leadership across both campuses. She leads with empathy, positivity, and consistency, and her commitment to fostering safe, welcoming school environments has a lasting impact on students and families throughout the Bonsall community. Andy, you do such a fantastic job. Thank you so much for your service. And to her colleague, Megan Hund. Megan is an exceptional counselor whose leadership and genuine care for students help shape the heart of her school community, Bonsall Elementary School. She leads the 5th grade ambassador program with purpose and vision, empowering students to develop confidence, kindness, and responsibility. Through this work, Megan is not only amplifying student voice, but also cultivating future leaders. In addition, she facilitates targeted small groups and lunch bunch, creating safe and supportive spaces where students can grow socially and emotionally. Megan has a remarkable ability to connect with students, meet them where they are, and provide the guidance they need to succeed. Her calm presence, thoughtful problem solving, and proactive approach make her a trusted resource for students, staff, and families. And she consistently strengthens the culture and sense of community across her campus. Congratulations, Megan. Well done. And next, I'd like to talk about Carrie Gresbring. I would also like to recognize her. She has gone above and beyond this year in supporting both our middle school and our high school communities. She's going to get some more help here real soon, but she's done a great job of really taking this situation and making it so good. So thank you, Carrie. While continuing to serve Sullivan Middle School, Carrie stepped in to support Bonsall High School, demonstrating exceptional flexibility, professionalism, and dedication to student success. She builds strong, meaningful relationships with students, staff, and families. I remember one video we were celebrating teachers and counselors where one student said, "She's like my school mom." It was the greatest quote. Creating a welcoming environment where students feel seen, heard, and supported, whether providing academic guidance, social emotional support, or helping students navigate challenges, because they have them in middle school and high school, right? Carrie, not that they don't in elementary, just to be fair. You'll defer, right? Carrie consistently ensures students receive the care and resources they need. Her positive attitude, collaborative spirit, and tireless work ethic have made a significant impact across both campuses. In closing, so congratulations, Carrie. In closing, we are deeply grateful for these folks up here. I think oftentimes when we think of certificated employees, we immediately rush to teachers, as we should. But this is such a foundational group that supports our schools in so many ways. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you so much. Congratulations. And one more round of applause, please. All right, we've had 2 special recognitions. This one's equally as special, but we also have a performance associated with it. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Anna Rameshwar and the students from Vivian Banks Charter School, the Capeño Singers. We do have some words to share about Miss Anna, so I'm going to have her join me at the podium just for a moment, because we do want to recognize All right. This is Miss Anna. Thank you, Tina. Miss Calabrese, we'd love you to have you join her at the podium. That would be fantastic. So Miss Anna has been a cherished part of Vivian Banks Charter School community for several years, sharing her deep knowledge and passion for the Capeño language with her students. Through her work at the Cupa Cultural Center, she supports not only our children on the Paula Reservation, but also elders in the community, playing an important role in preserving the language and traditions of the Paula Band of Mission Indians. Vivian Banks Charter School students eagerly look forward to Fridays, right, students? You look forward to Fridays? Okay, very good. Just checking, I knew it was true. When Miss Anna, as she's lovingly known, brings the Capeño language to life by teaching keywords and phrases woven into songs she thoughtfully creates. Her lessons are engaging, meaningful, and deeply rooted in culture, helping students build both language skills and a strong sense of identity and belonging. Thank you, Anna, for all that you do to support our students, preserve culture, and inspire future generations. Thank you so much. And now Miss Anna is going to show us what she does with these wonderful kids.
All right, so thank you very much. Very happy to be here with these kids. I was hoping to do a really cool medley like that Bob Marley acoustic medley. We'll see. We don't usually practice medleys when I go to school. But one of my main approaches for music is I have this gift of catching songs. And I have a gift and a love for language. Currently I'm studying to become a linguist. And
Sure. I just want to let everyone know that this is the part of the agenda where we actually have a little bit of a recess. So if anybody wants to take any pictures and whatnot, and I understand Anna's distributing treats. And if you want to stay for the entire meeting, I'm sure we'll be appreciating. But otherwise, thank you for being here. We'll resume in 5 minutes. It's 6:49. We'll resume at 6:55.
Oh, and turn it toward.
Yes, you can. I have faith in you. All right, it is 6:55. If we can make our way back to the dais so that we can resume our governance of the Bonsall Unified School District, that would be fantastic. Say all the fun is done, and
Alan, I noticed your pictures up there. You look a little different in the picture that was up there. You must have had a different hairstyle. Yeah.
so.
Oh, you were up there a minute ago. He said Bonsall West up there.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Well, it's nice to see all of those who are still interested in participating in our meeting. Perhaps we shall still have more fun as this evening unfolds. We are now at the group reports, starting with, I don't think I see anybody here representing any of our parent groups, PTA, PING, any of that. So hopefully we'll see more parent representation at another meeting. That brings us to our labor reports. Bonsall Teachers Association, Ms. Ariano.
Good evening, everyone. I had something I was going to say. I don't remember what it is. So I'm very excited and I'm involved in a lot of these future planning things, and I'm very excited about what the district is doing for its long-term plans and our mission and our vision and all the things that are forward-facing. But we can't get there without taking care of today as well. I think that's a theme that's facing the board in many ways right now, and I would just hope that you would remember that through it all, you've had your teachers and they've been outstanding when we didn't even have curriculum for years, until about 5 years ago. We didn't have curriculum. We just made it up, and we did pretty well. And all of these programs that you're going to hear about and all of our big victories, you know, it starts with the teachers. And we're here time and time again to support this district. And I really hope that the district will continue to support the teachers in the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ariano. I don't see anyone from our CSEA, correct? Okay. That brings us to our management reports. Our first school is Bonsall West. Mr. Principal Camacho, come on up.
It's on. All right. Good evening, Board President Anderson, Superintendent Gawley, Board, Ms. Gina. I'm honored to share some exciting updates from our school as we continue to build a strong foundation for student success. And we all know it starts with achievement, so I'm happy to share with you that our average daily attendance is at 96.62%. And thanks large to our attendance clerk, who is really hitting the pavement, working with teachers to get those contracts done, independent study contracts, and recouping that, making sure our students don't miss lost academics. So, as we dig in, from our fall to winter iReady reading data reflects strong and consistent growth across the grade level. The percentage of students performing on or above grade level increased from 43% to 64%, while the number of students one grade level below decreased significantly. This shift suggests that core instruction and supplemental supports are effectively addressing student needs, particularly for students who are approaching grade level proficiency. Additionally, the reduction in students performing 2 or more grade levels below indicates that targeted interventions are positively impacting our most at-risk learners. In our iReady math scores, did it switch? There we go. Data from fall to winter demonstrates meaningful progress as well across the grade level, particularly in reducing the number of students performing significantly below grade level. The percentage of students on or above grade level increased from 28 to 45%, while the number of students 2 or more grade levels below decreased substantially. These trends indicate, again, that targeted intervention and instructional supports are effectively addressing our foundational skill gaps. However, nearly half of students remain one grade level below, signaling a need for continued focus on conceptual understanding and targeted skill development. Overall, the data reflects positive momentum and provides a clear direction for spring instructional planning. We had a lot to celebrate in January. First, we started off with our Leader in Me Student of the Month Award winners. Habit 4, Think Win-Win, from our 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a mindset for mutual benefit in all interactions, viewing life as cooperative, not a zero-sum competition where one person's success requires another's failure. It requires balancing courage, which is assertiveness, and consideration, empathy, to find solutions that satisfy everyone, stemming from character traits like integrity, maturity, and an abundance mentality, believing there's enough for everyone. This habit fosters trust, collaboration, and long-term success by seeking solutions that are beneficial and satisfying for all parties involved. And there's all the winners for the last month. We continued to celebrate our scholars in grades 3rd through 6th with our end of the year semester awards. This one was meaningful to me. My daughter is in 3rd grade, so she is on this list, and it was kind of weird signing that like award. And so I'll share with you what we were celebrating this week. We put the spotlight on the hard work, dedication, and spirit that our students have shown throughout the semester. Whether in the classroom, out on the playground, or going the extra mile in everything they do, our students truly have made us all proud. They were recognized in 2 areas. The Principal's Award is an award that goes to students who went above and beyond academically, achieving straight A's. That's right, nothing less than excellence. The Teacher Honor Roll is where students were honored for earning A's and B's, proving that hard work and commitment lead to success. Bonsall West enjoyed a wonderful family game night last month as families came together for an evening filled with laughter, friendly competition, and plenty of popcorn. Students and parents played a variety of board games, both school-provided favorites and games brought from home, creating a welcoming space for connection and fun. Beyond the fun, board games help build important skills such as critical thinking, problem-solving, communication, teamwork, and sportsmanship, while also strengthening family bonds and social connections. A heartfelt thank you to Mrs. Darling for organizing this fantastic event, also with our Community Engagement Initiative team for sponsoring it. It was a huge shout out to, I got to give this out to Bonsall High School Junior Miguel Chavarin for volunteering the entire night. Our parents were so impressed with how he ensured everyone was having a good time. He went by every single game board to see if they needed anything, if he can join the game, do they need another player. So it was truly a night of giving. And here we have some of the volunteers, and Miss Regina on the right, and that's him on the left, Chavarin Jr. And there's Miss Darling with a sign-in sheet. Families in action, lots of smiles, lots of competition. If they're kind of like my family, sometimes arguments start, gets a little heated. This little gun. All right. All teachers actively participated in professional development to support the implementation of our newly adopted Eureka Math Squared curriculum and partner with UC Irvine Math Project. In addition, our support staff also engaged in early literacy training by our intervention plan for students who need that extra support. So here you have Ms. Bonwell, led by our very own Ms. Bonwell, whose expertise continues to be an invaluable resource for our school community. Mrs. Bonwell has provided intervention to 71 students, exiting 13 due to positive growth. 20 students have grown a full grade level in this half year, from the beginning of the year to mid-year. We also have our iReady score, with an iReady scores, we also have 6 students who have grown a full category in the Dibbles assessment. So we can't wait to see what the end of the year growth will look like for these scholars. Okay, on the 29th, all 4th grade teachers came to Bonsall West Elementary School alongside the work with UC Irvine Math Project. Teachers worked together to analyze and plan a math lesson from our newly adopted Eureka Math Squared curriculum. The lesson was first taught by a UCI instructor, while 4th grade teachers observed and provided valuable feedback. Following the lesson, teachers met to review their notes and collaborate on ways to refine and strengthen the instruction. The revised lesson was then taught by the 4th grade team to the other 4th grade classroom. Following that lesson, they did debrief and reflect on the day, and a lot of learning going on. It was a powerful day of learning, collaboration, and growth, benefiting both teachers and students. And we ended our month with our family formal winter dance. It was a total blast. Families danced the night away to great music while enjoying hot chocolate and cookies. The photo booth captured memories that will last a lifetime. A heartfelt thank you to our PTA and amazing volunteers. Their support made this an unforgettable event for everyone. And then, actually I want to show you this little guy. On the left, he brought these handmade roses for a bunch of the girls. It was the cutest thing ever. Little Jonah Rodriguez there. And then I want to end it with, we did celebrate the 100th day of school, and teachers and students dressed up. The two on the left are our kindergarten team, Mr. Blue and Ms. Stegmiller. They literally walked so slow all day. I had to ask them the next day, and yes, the answer was yes. Are you guys sore? Because it takes a lot of work to like act and walk, like literally walk like they were all the way to and back from lunch. But that's all I have, and thank you for sharing this time with me, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Principal Camacho.
Oh, sorry, you're up. Oh, sorry.
And that brings us to Vivian Banks.
Thank you. Well, first off, wasn't that beautiful? That was pretty beautiful to watch the kids. I thought only 8 kids were showing up, so the fact that 12 kids showed up was pretty special for me. So good evening, board, esteemed board, as well as our audience, Dr. Gawley and Ms. McInerney. The first slide that we have here are some highlights that we have had since our last board meeting. A lot of fun events since then. Students were able to purchase hot cocoa before school started, the week before Christmas break. As you can see, our students really enjoyed purchasing that hot cup, especially in the morning before running club. In the classroom, teachers were busy planning lessons that tied to the upcoming break. In one class, a teacher had the students use their reading and math skills so they could build gingerbread houses. That student over there on the right is a student that doesn't typically smile that broadly, but he was pretty darn excited to read how to build that and as well build it. We had a special visitor from the North Pole. Santa came to visit Vivian Banks Charter School along with his elf. The wonderment and the joy that the students had on their faces when he walked in was phenomenal, just to see their faces light up. Squeals were had from all the students. Students were able to select gifts thanks to the very generous donation from the Weir Family Foundation. All of our students were able to select gifts based on their behavior for that month. So if they had perfect behavior in that month and they were in kindergarten, they got to have, or TK, they got to pick their first gift. But every student went home and they were so excited to be able to select their own personal gift. And even the students that were chosen last still were able to get a gift that they were pretty darn excited about. As you can see, some of those gifts are really, really nice. I was really, really pleased with those. We completed our week with our holiday program. Our students all sang 2 songs each from each classroom to the delight and merriment of the parents in the audience. It always puts you in that regular holiday spirit when you get to hear the voices of children singing. We completed that day with donated food from the Bow family. Actually, the Bow family was here in attendance. One of their children are singing. They donated muffins, pastries, and sandwiches for after the event, and we completed with our gratefulness with the lunch on the lawn that day. 2026 rang in with a bang. Students got right back to work. We all celebrated our 100th day of school in conjunction with our Great Kindness Challenge Week. Great Kindness Challenge, as you know, is a worldwide event. It was actually started here at Kelly Elementary School in Carlsbad, and we were very happy that we were able to participate this year. We had 2 assemblies that week, courtesy of the EPA. They did a Be Kind to Pollinators assembly that week. That the kids got very excited about all the different pollinators that we have. We're really tied in with the garden that we have growing. We have full heads of lettuce, full heads of celery. We got amazing vegetables in our garden right now thanks to the EPA and the planting that they did. But besides the Be Kind assembly, we also had a Be Kind to regular Be Kind assembly that was put on by Paula Social Services and Tachili Healing Hearts. And their message was just to be kind to each other. They also brought a lot of donations for our kids. Our kids are so thankful that they were able to get stress balls, pencils, stickers, and really talk a lot about kindness, and we celebrated with a lunch on the lawn at the end of this week as well. And here's some pictures of our Great Kindness Challenge. The kids did a kindness banner in our pep club. We had the Be Kind to Pollinators assembly there in the center. There's some lunch on the lawn pictures, and then we all painted rocks at our lunch on the lawn, and those rocks are now nestled safely in our garden. We had an author day last week. Kentrell Martin, I don't know if any of you've heard of him, but he was an amazing presenter. We just happened to have him come for author day. We weren't able to schedule him during Read Across America week, but he came last Friday. I have never seen our students pay attention as well as they did to Mr. Martin. They were just awestruck. His books, the Shelley Adventure series, are based on a student or a child who is deaf, and so they use American Sign Language. He said at the beginning of his assembly he was going to teach the kids 30 different signs. I thought, no way. Our kids learned 30 different signs. And they were able to repeat it, and they were so excited to communicate with each other. And then afterwards, he was quite the celebrity. So many kids were taking off their shoes, having him autograph their shoes, autograph their cell phones. It was adorable to see how excited they got. They really, really enjoyed Mr. Martin. We already have him booked for next year. I'm pleased to share that we also had a math night. This was a very successful event. We had a little bit lower attendance than normal because that was a day that we didn't have school because of the water issue. But we had a fantastic math night. This was a night of free dinner, free fun, playing math games, and then our Paula Fire Department came, as well as about 10 different high school students that came to help us volunteer. We have been very fortunate. All of our family events that we have every month have been well attended by both the fire department as well as our local high schools. And it's a lot of fun to see the kids engaging. The firemen were actually challenged with some of the math questions, and it was cute to see how excited they got playing with Chief Ravago's grandson. He's quite a good mathematician, actually. Our iReady data, it's a little bit hard to see here, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of share a little bit about it. You're going to see a little bit less green than you did on Bonsall West, but what I'm excited about is the number of students who have moved in bands from the 3 grade levels below up to the 1 grade level below and 2 grade levels below. So we have had a clear shift. We've had 52% students that were in the 3 more grade levels below at the beginning of the year. Now it's down to 21%. We moved from 33% at 2 grade levels below at the beginning of the year down to 23%. And we now have 52% in 1 grade level below, up from 14%. We increased our students on or above grade level to 4%, up from 0. So what does that mean? 37% of our students improved their overall placement in math. Our median progress towards annual typical growth is 57%, showing strong mid-year growth towards the end of the year expectations. 21% of our students have already met or exceeded their typical growth, defined as 100% or more progress, and another 16% are at the 80 to 99% progress, which positions several of our students to hit growth targets by the spring. Next, we have our iReady reading data. So these are some celebrations that I just kind of shared. For iReady reading, our middle of the year data also shows progress and growth. We went from 40% of our students in 3 grade levels or more below down to 15%. In 2 grade levels below, we reduced from 24% to 19%, and we increased the number of students in our band of 1 grade level below from 28% to 54%. We also increased from 8% of our students on grade level or above to 12%. So what does this mean? It means our interventions are working. 38% of our students improved their overall placement from the beginning of the year. The median progress towards typical growth is 55%, demonstrating strong major progress towards year-end expectations. 23% of our students have already met or exceeded their typical growth, which again is at 100% or more by the middle of the year. One of our interventions that is working really well is Lexia. Lexia is a research-based program, and it's a program that our students attend 4 days a week with a volunteer teacher. As you can see in this slide right here, we began the year with only 9% of our students in grade level material. We're now at 36% of our students in grade level material and 7% above. I think that's pretty amazing. We went from 90% of our students working below grade level material to 56% of our students in below grade level material. You can look at it differently. We went from 10% of our students on grade level up to 44% in 1 semester. And 89% of our kindergarten students, 75% of our first grade students, 22% of our second grade students, and 17% of our 4th grade students moved to on or above grade level material thus far. Well, we're not at 100% on grade level yet, and I say yet. We are working in the right direction. Weekly, we have our Lexia Superstars honored at our weekly assemblies. Tomorrow, we're going to have 6 students honored. We've already had 2 students pass the program completely, which means they've gotten to the end of the year 5th grade standards. This has been made possible with all the improvements with our ADA both month to month and since the start of the school year. So as we know, students can't learn if they're not in school. If you look at the overall data for ADA, you can see that we've steadily improved both year over year by month as well as overall altogether. And so we're at 96.15% of positive daily attendance. Switching over to the Virtual Academy. This next slide shows the number of classes taken in Bonsall Virtual Academy. We currently have 11 students in the program in TK through 8th and 10 in high school. Our students have taken 133 classes and passed 130 for a 97% pass rate. We did need to return 2 students back to in-person after the first semester due to struggles with the program. And our sweet ATP students, they hosted a winter dance and they invited students from other local high schools to join them. Our students are gaining great life skills through the food cart, custodial services, and the hands-on skills such as how to apply for a job, create a resume, and do an interview. Our upcoming events are listed next. Next week we have a week off for President's Week. We have our next upcoming family event on the 23rd of February. This is going to be a game night. We're going to have free dinner courtesy of the Paula Casino and Chairman Smith, fun games, a raffle, and a lot of fun. Our teachers are continuing to receive valuable hands-on PD for the UCI math project. We still have a Dr. Seuss Read Across America week coming up and a lunch on the lawn the first week of March. Our multicultural night will be on March 19th. We've already received donations of handmade jewelry, beaded, it's beautiful. I'm very excited. And our ATP BVA field trip is going to be to the San Diego Wanalo Park in March, as well as 2 field trips planned for our upper grade and lower grades for music with Miss G, Museum of Making Music for our younger students, and Symphony at the Rady Shell for upper grade students. And of course, we'll have a PD with iReady on the 27th of March, spring break, and the end of the 3rd quarter. Phew! How did that happen? It goes by so fast. As you can see, our students at Vivian Banks are making great gains and great progress, focusing on the circle of courage, positive traits of developing a sense of belonging, having a sense of generosity, having a sense of independence, and mastery. And our students are definitely showing mastery. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Principal Calabrese. That brings us to our board member reports, and if we can hear from our valedictorian of Bonsall High School, Student Board Member Isla.
Good evening, everyone. So I want to start off by saying I saw a lot of familiar faces among the Vivian Bank students, and it was so nice seeing them again. It really just brightens your day seeing their faces. And I actually had the pleasure of seeing Miss Anna in action during one of the times I was there, and I was able to see just how patient and passionate she is in what she's doing, teaching the students. And also the kids just have so much fun learning with her and getting to know more about the native and local culture, which is just great to see. And then in terms of the high school, just starting with extracurricular activities, Mock Trial had their 4th and last competition February 7th, as Dr. Gawley mentioned. And we were actually the smallest participating school, but we won the most awards. Yeah. So that just shows like the quality and just how well we're performing in what we do. So even if we're small in number, we're doing a great job. And just to shout out the 4 people that got awards, it was Aaron Ariano, George Hernandez, Jackson Ramirez, and me. So yeah, so that was great. And then speech and debate that same day actually was in Palma Valley, giving speeches at the Lions Club speech contest. So 4 of our club members had the pleasure of being able to go and participate and practice our public speaking. So it's just great that we have a local opportunity to go and share what we think about the topic, and which was a really important topic since it's youth mental health, and the opinions and thoughts that were shared were really insightful. So I'm glad we were able to go. And also in terms of speech and debate, we have state qualifications at the end of this month and the beginning of March. So we're going to participate in those, and hopefully we'll be able to compete on the state level. Then earlier this week on Tuesday, it was the senior night for both boys and girls basketball, and they're playing really well. The girls team is doing amazing. They won their league and are going to playoffs. So we're really excited about that. And it's important to note that because in the past they did have some struggles and didn't win the most games. So seeing that improvement, we're really proud of that. And then last night, again, as Dr. Gawley mentioned, we had the valedictory circle. I was really glad seeing my fellow seniors being celebrated, and we were just so proud of each other and celebratory and just saying congrats and hugs, and having the parents there as well was great. So I want to give my congratulations to them. I love being a part of the same graduating class, and I look forward to giving a speech to them. And I also want to congratulate my fellow salutatorian, Leo Preston. He's amazing. He's just so kind and is in Japan right now, so that's really cool. And then ASB, we did a Valentine's activity today, since this year it's on a Saturday. And we're planning an event for March with a dunk tank. So that will be very fun and interesting. We're hoping to get some teachers in the dunk tank. Lots of students will want to get them to drop down, get them wet. So that is something we're really looking forward to. And then this month we've had a lot of field trips to the Cal State San Marcos Innovation Hub, and then the seniors also recently went to Palomar and were able to see their main campus. So those field trips are all super fun. And then the ambassadors for the academies are actually heading to Bonsall West Elementary soon to present about the academies, and we're also going there for their career day to help support and just talk about the careers that are in line with the academies. And then we'll also be helping with 8th grade presentations when we have them at the high school. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great Valentine's Day filled with love, friends, and family, and that everyone also has a great President's Week break. So, thank you.
Thank you, Isla. Trustee Ortega.
Okay. Well, I know everybody knows I wear a lot of hats. You know, I do a lot of different things in the community. I enjoy doing them. I have some time to be able to do it. Some of them actually coincide with my job that I do, and other times there's things that I just do as a volunteer, and sometimes I get put in charge of something simply because I showed up and I get put in charge of it. So, you know, and I think that happens to all of us. But along with some of those hats, first of all, I want to congratulate Gina. She has helped me a lot along the way. I've known her for several years. I knew her husband for, more years than we care to talk about. Yeah, she's been a great help to me. If anytime I have a question, stuff like that, she helps me along and usually, and always gets my order right for the food too. So, and if I order something wrong, she fixes it for me. She knows what I want anyway. So. Anyway, congratulations, Gina. I'm also president of the Palma Valley Lions Club, and along with that, the Lions Club has a program in California where they have a speakers contest. The speakers contest itself is near and dear to my heart, and I was introduced to it, I don't know, like 12 years ago when Don Cottonelli was zone chair and he did the speakers contest, and it took me along as a helper, and I loved it. I think it was something that we should keep going, and I don't even know how many students in the area we've had in our speakers contest, but we've always had a large group coming from Bonsall, and they've always excelled and done well. And this last subject, youth mental health, overcoming barriers to well-being, apparently was a very touching subject for a lot of students. And it gave me an opportunity to hear from the students, because we don't prompt them on what they're going to say. They come in, and the students, even though several of them came from Bonsall, they didn't have anything like that was connected with what they were talking. Each one of them had a totally different viewpoint on it, and it gave me an opportunity to hear some things, what students have seen, what they observed, what they heard about, and some students actually were affected by by programs like this, and to see these students talk about these situations was actually pretty intense. And I remember a couple of students actually kind of got lost along the way, and I see them look up to Mr. Hinchliff, who was there, and just kind of gave him that vote of confidence to keep on going. And Mr. Hinchliff is an incredible person too, so he provides a great opportunity for these students to be in the speakers contest. We had students from Valley Center that were there, and it was a really great opportunity to hear what the students have to say about the current issues. And I even told the students at the end, I said, they brought up a lot of important points, and I'm on the school board at Bonsall. I'm probably going to use a lot of those points, and I might even take credit for a lot of them if they work. And they were all okay with that. So, but anyway, it's an incredible program, and our students did really well. And one of the students that was there will be going on to the next contest. But it showed me that it reminded me of the program that we have here at Bonsall. And this is where I want to address the board. I'm supposed to be addressing the board anyway, but the program we have here at Bonsall, when I went to high school, I did well. I achieved a lot of goals. I was successful, but I didn't feel like it was in a safe and loving environment. Our mission statement did not apply to me. It was written on the board, but it didn't apply to me or a lot of my friends. When Bonsall was talking about separating and becoming its own school, I mentioned it to a lot of my friends over at Impala, and a lot of us, we went to Fallbrook. We're warriors at heart. We've been there, but when we talked about separating from the school, and I'm not trying to talk down on Fallbrook, but one of the things that was mentioned to me was, well, they never really wanted us there anyway. We were successful there, but they didn't really want us there. And I think what I see now today with the speakers contest that we just had, and with a lot of the current programs we have, this Copeno program we have going on, you would have never seen that at Fallbrook. And I know we talk about sometimes we're trying to compare our high school program to some of the local high schools. A lot of you probably don't realize that we're actually the flagship for a lot of programs. There's a lot of schools that look at us and actually copy a lot of stuff we're doing. They're now doing language programs at Valley Center. They're now doing, they now have a powwow up in Great Oak, which they didn't have before, but we had our Paula Valley Days here, and it became, I forget what it's called now, Southern California Indigenous Days. And these are programs that started several years ago, and now other schools are actually taking that on. And when we go down to San Diego to different conferences, they point out some of the things that Bonsall High School is doing. We're the flagship for a lot of programs. We're small, but we win awards more so than any other schools. And so I want you guys to realize the program that you're in charge of, that, I know we'd like to have it better, we'd like to have it bigger, and We'd like to be even more successful, but you got to realize you are very successful. There was a story I saw in a movie where a guy would hit the ball. He was a big guy. He would hit the ball, and he would only run to first base. Never ran more than that. Always ran to first base. And then one time he hit the ball really good, and he wanted to try to go for more, and he tripped over first base and fell down, crawled back to first base, and got up, and everybody was laughing at him. And then when he stood up, he realized why they were laughing at him. He had hit the ball over the fence. You guys have to realize that you are hitting the ball over the fence right now. And do you want to hit the ball over the fence every time you're at the bat? Of course. But you got to realize that you're doing a great job. This is a great program here at this school. And I know a lot of people that I grew up with, they didn't have good experiences in high school. And I know their kids are coming here, and I've seen a lot of them here, and they're having a great experience in this program. So I'd like you all to give yourself an applause for everything you're doing. And I see it. I see it. I see the success in our students. I see the way they feel. I see the way their parents feel. If you remember, I mean, Vivian Banks is a very small school, if you've seen this, remember the support that they got when we were talking about continuing the program last year. And the people that came up and fixed the school didn't cost the district anything. The community came out and fixed the school, fixed the termite problem, fixed all the other issues that were addressed, upgraded the school upgraded the classrooms, and didn't charge us anything. And then we wanted to give them an award. They were like, they did it just because they wanted to do it. They didn't do it for an award. And so we have a lot of community support in our community. And, you know, you guys are hitting the ball out of the park. You're doing a great job. So thank you. And that's all I have to say for that.
Thank you, Trustee Ortega. Trustee Dombrowski.
Thank you. I wanted to say congratulations to you, Gina. Our administrators are our world. I worked in a lot of different institutions, and the ship doesn't run properly without your administrative team. So thank you and congratulations. Well deserved. And I also wanted to say congratulations to the counselors that were recognized earlier. Counselors are an essential component. I know, when I was in high school, my counselor was very essential to getting me, to the next level, and so they deserve congratulations too. Last week, I had the pleasure of going to Bonsall High School and speaking with the medical track or academy, I think it's called an academy, with the medical academy students, and I just shared basically, my trajectory and my career starting out as I was pre-med in college, thought I was going to be a pediatric oncologist. I'm glad I didn't go into that, but then totally shifted and went into public health. And so my job was to really kind of share with them what public health is and that you can help people without necessarily being in medicine and being a doctor or a nurse, and you can do a lot of good things with a lot of people if you work in public health and you're also working on health and medicine. So they were a great audience and really fun to talk to. And I think I'm going back to talk to the law and policy group as well, because I was a lobbyist previously in DC and have had a lot of experience in policy change. And so I'm looking forward again to going back and talking with the other academy there. And so I also brought them Cal State San Marcos swag because I am a professor there right now. And so I had to kind of plug our new accelerated degree programs there, which are in public health and wellness coaching. So you can kind of go in that mental health and social emotional wellness track too. And we have accelerated degree options for that. So I brought them some swag and they really enjoyed that. And just shared with them kind of the opportunities that are available to them locally here through the various universities. And I'm looking forward to my town hall at the end of the month at Bonsall West with our parents and community. I've been promoting it as much as I can on our community Facebook pages. I'm going to reach out to the HOA in our community and also try to get it in front of them to share with the broader community members. Because it is just not for parents, it's also for our other community members who don't necessarily have children attending Bonsall schools. And so I just think it's super important that we hear from as many people as possible, because this is really for the future direction of this district, and we need to come to a conclusion and create some action around the future of this district, because if we don't do something, I don't know where there is a future for, you know, some of the high school and the middle school and some of the facilities issues that we do have. So, and I see a lot of opportunity in talking with, you know, at our board study session when we talked with the public-private partnership consultants, and there is a ton of opportunity with, you know, potentially building a new building or doing some kind of major facilities upgrade. I mean, we need to have a high-tech campus. We need to get our students ready for working with AI in the workforce. I mean, this is coming, it's here. And so we need to prepare our students to be, you know, the best that they can be when they get out in the workforce. That's really it. And I was super excited to hear about the wave for wave. Is that the wave for, yes. So fun fact, my dissertation was on community-based enterprises. A little theory analysis for you, but I worked with corner stores in Chicago. And I really looked at how corner store owners encompass a community-based enterprise identity. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're a community-based enterprise, like as they're talking up here. And so it totally brought me back to my dissertation. And I was just like, that's so amazing. But it reminded me of a barbershop in Chicago who did a similar thing and offered free haircuts for kids that would come in and read a story to them. And so they would give them free haircuts for reading the story. So I love it. I love the connection with the local businesses, because they really are our assets in our communities. And so I work a lot with grocery stores, corner stores, dollar stores, hoping to work more dollar stores in the area here. And so just continuing that relationship with small business owners, I think, is really key too. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dabrowski. Mr. Merchat.
All right. I would like to thank Dr. Gawley and Alan and Laura and Caroline Brown. They came out on Monday and spent a few hours with community members, and I really appreciate it, because I know after a long day, it's the last thing you kind of want to do. You want to get home and get dinner and get going. But really appreciate it, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Merchat. Trustee Gaddis.
Hello. First thing I want to do is, of course, I want to say congratulations to Gina, because in all honesty, this is probably one of the most deserved awards, because everyone always says, oh, it's well-deserved. This one really is well-deserved. I mean, I'm serious. This person holds this district together. I mean, she's got a giant thing of duct tape back there, and she does it. And so you do a great job, Gina. I'm glad you're fine. I saw seeing your picture up there so big. I was so proud, you know. So that I feel really great for you. The second thing I want to do is, all you guys saw a picture of me up there, and I was leaning over at the kindergarten room, and I was helping a kindergartner. And it was kind of funny, because their little project was, they had all these little pictures they cut out, and on one side of their paper it says words that start with WH, and on the other side it said words that do not start with WH. So I was watching the little girl that was in front of me, and she had a picture of a cat, and she started putting on the WH side, and I'm like, oh, she's wrong. And I what do I do? Do I like tell her she's wrong? I mean, I would feel embarrassed. And then I look across the way, and the little girl across the way also put it on the WH side. And I'm like, and I look over, and there's a little boy, and he did it too. And I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Why are they all putting a cat on the WH? Then I noticed that there was a little arrow to the whiskers. And so the point is, yeah, the point is, I was wrong, they were right. And so I'm man enough to tell you that. So I also want to say congratulations to the mock trial. I think that was, a very huge accomplishment. It's very intense, and it's just a way to experience a real life scenario, and to do it well against the competition that you're going up against is impressive. And so I just want to say I'm very, very happy that we have these the speech and debate and the mock trial and all of these things, because learning how to speak and learning how to articulate your positions is a skill that you'll take. It's beyond anything. You're going to use it all the time in your life, And so for us to be, helping these kids, practice it and make it and perfect it is really good. The last thing I want to kind of mention is, kind of on a little serious note, we have facilities coming up, and we have, discussions over what's going to happen, and, just different possibilities that could occur, and so here's what I want to talk about. There's a philosopher named John Rawls. I don't know if anybody know who John Rawls is. John Rawls he's a Harvard professor, and he was a Harvard professor for many years, and he wrote a book that is very difficult to read. And it is very intense. Each page probably takes 10 times as long as a normal page because you got to figure out what he's saying. But he did come up with a thought experiment that was very interesting. And his thought experiment was when you are in a position where you make decisions, he said that he called it the original position. And what's interesting about the original position is that each person who has to make a decision has to put what they call a veil of ignorance on. Now what that means is that let's say I have to pretend that I do not know who I am in the community. I have to make a decision from such an objective standpoint that I don't know where I stand in the community. I don't know if I'm rich or poor or if, or where I am. And the reason that is because when you do that, every decision that you make, you have to make with the possibility that you are the person that's going to be most adversely affected by your decision. And so when you do that, that makes you really look at what you're deciding, and it makes you empathetic to every position, because I don't know if I'm the person that could be there because I have a veil of ignorance on. I could very well be the person that's most adversely affected. And so I guess what I'm saying to everybody is when you make decisions, not only should you keep an open mind, like I said last time, right, and be willing to discuss, contrary viewpoints, and do so with in a manner that is legitimate, right? Not necessarily listening to somebody anticipating your response while they're talking, but actually listening to what they're saying, and kind of taking what they're saying and comparing it to what you believe. And then from there, you can either ratify, modify, or abandon your own position. And that's how people should do it. Now, in today's world, that doesn't happen. If you watch all of our congressional committees and you watch all this stuff going on, people are talking over everybody. Nobody is listening to anybody. Everybody's trying to win. And that's not really the way it's supposed to work, but that's the way it does. So I think my whole point is this. My whole point is that as we get through and we start looking at different possibilities, whether it be building a school on Gerd Road, or we need to understand and be empathetic and appreciate everybody's position. And that means even positions that we strongly disagree with. And we have to listen to their position, and we have to say, okay, is there anything in their position that we can use? Is there anything there that is going to help us? Is there any way that we can somehow make a common ground, right? Because everybody always wants to win. Each side always wants their side to win, right? That's what it comes down to. But in the real world, they're just as passionate as we are about our position. So it's one of those things where you have two firmly committed groups. And so the goal is to try to find if there's any middle ground or common ground. And so what I want to make sure is that we as a board, when we go forward, we make sure that we listen to people and we take the other people's sides. Even if we don't like what we hear, we need to listen to it, and we need to see if there's any validity to it or if there's any way to do it. Because like the original position says, we could imagine that we could be that person. So I think I only want to say that because as this goes on, I just want everyone to remain civilized. I want everyone to take everybody's opinion respectfully and to really think and analyze it, because that's the only way we're going to have progress. Because at the end of the day, we might not agree on something, but at least we'll have a respect for each other, that they at least listen to us, and we could say, and vice versa. But if we don't, all we're going to get is adversarial, and that's not productive. And so that's what I want to do, is just make sure everybody keeps that in mind as we go forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gaddis. Good evening, everyone. Most everyone in this room knows that I'm a passionate advocate for the arts in public education. Music, visual art, performance, those are the places where students discover courage, collaboration, discipline, and ultimately their own voices. The arts are where confidence takes root. While many California public schools have had to scale back or eliminate music programs altogether, Bonsall Unified continues to invest in them. That is intentional, and it speaks to who we are and what we stand for. I love seeing the arts thrive across BUSD this Valentine's week. Our Sullivan Middle School show choir performs with heart and flair, including bright and early at Rotary today. That level of excellence grows from the dedication of families and the steady leadership of Miss Stacy Pecor, who has shaped musical programs at Bonsall Unified School District for more than a quarter century. When our young singers step into the broader community with joy and polish, it reminds people what public education does well. In that same spirit, young voices sharing songs from Paula brightened the opening of our meeting. I want to recognize Anna Rameshwar through the Kupa Cultural Center, whose work supports our Vivian Banks learners and sustains the Kupeño language through music. Hearing it here reminds us that education is not just academic. It is cultural continuity, stewardship, and belonging. We are fortunate to serve families whose roots run deep in this region. As for the visual arts, I encourage everyone to review the information sent yesterday about the upcoming Bonsall Women's Club, Bonsall Unified School District Stages of Inspiration Art Contest and Show. I look forward to hundreds of 2D, 3D, and photography submissions from students across all 5 of our schools on display May 6th. Creative courage builds academic fortitude. Now, turning to the broader responsibilities before us. As board members, we steward a district that spans 88 square miles, from Paula to Pendleton. That is a varied and geographically complex landscape. Decisions made here ripple across every corner of it. Across California, communities like ours navigate housing demand, environmental responsibility, economic development, and emerging industries like cannabis. These conversations spark strong reactions. They influence long-term planning capacity and intersect directly with facilities realities, demanding clarity, not reflex. Development in our region is not abstract. That's the significant land movement that we see along Lilac makes that clear. Growth is visible, and it heightens the urgency of establishing a long-term facilities plan and scaffolding it responsibly. Doing so will require creativity, collaboration, and multiple funding pathways, including partnership and potential bond support from our community. Planning now with clarity positions us to act with confidence rather than constraint. We must approach this moment with a measure twice, cut once mindset. Land use and facilities decisions are generational. The choices that we make today influence patterns long after we leave our seats. I believe in neighborhood elementary schools that honor the needs of the immediate neighbors that they serve. When campuses are thoughtfully embedded within their surroundings, families experience the difference in shorter commutes, safer routes, and stronger connections between school and home. Later this evening, the board will consider an action item related to coordination with Rainbow Municipal Water District. That step strengthens alignment among our infrastructure partners. School facility planning requires intentional scaffolding with fire protection, law enforcement, and utilities so that growth and readiness move forward in step. The Bonsall Unified School District exists so that students flourish academically, socially, and as whole human beings. That requires vision and steadiness. It requires examining enrollment patterns honestly and planning in ways that strengthen continuity as students move from one grade span to the next. Governance calls us to widen the lens, to look beyond immediate pressure and toward durable solutions, to balance fiscal responsibility with educational integrity, to serve every one of our 88 square miles with equal care. There is a passage in Romans 13 that says, "Love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor." However one interprets that, the principle endures. Decisions made without regard for neighbors rarely stand the test of time. Families want safe routes to school. Longtime residents want rural character respected. Educators want thoughtful planning. New families want opportunity. Across our district, each of these priorities deserves deliberate consideration. Bonsall moves forward best when we keep the long view in focus, when we remember that students are watching not only what we decide, but how we decide it, when we build conscientiously and with the courage to bridge to the future rather than to react to the moment. As we enter the year of the fire horse, a cycle that comes only once every 60 years, we are reminded that some seasons call for boldness anchored by discipline, strength guided by purpose, momentum directed with intention. May we carry that spirit into the work ahead. Thank you. And that brings us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our information items. We have our first information item, which is the annual mid-year update to the LCAP, the Local Control Accountability Plan, and Local Control Funding Formula Budget Overview for Parents, and the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant.
Thank you so much. So this is a presentation that I'm going to share with you that was actually prepared by Dr. Pendleton. She was not able to be here tonight, so I am presenting this in her stead. But in the past, I did present this same update, so hopefully that's something that will be very comfortable. So this is the mid-year update for our LCAP. And just to give you a little bit of background information, and most of the board here has seen a similar presentation before. Dr. Dombrowski, this will be newer for you as well as for our student board rep. But a little bit of background, Senate Bill 114 added a requirement that school districts have to present a report on annual update on our current year LCAP by February 28th at a regularly scheduled board meeting. And at this meeting, what we're supposed to do is give you any mid-year outcome data that we have related to the metrics identified in the LCAP, and also some information about the mid-year expenditure and implementation data on the things that we've identified. As you know, the LCAP is a state accountability compliance document. It is a strategic planning document. It's very intense. It's very lengthy. And the intent of it really is to focus primarily on students who are low-income English learners, foster youth. The purpose of, obviously, is ensuring equity and accountability in education, but that is something that needs to be called out throughout the entire document, how we are specifically supporting those students. It's on a 3-year cycle, so we have year 1 was 24-25, this is year 2, and then this same LCAP will be carried through year 3. And the document is rather extensive, as I mentioned. So what Dr. Pendleton did is she linked it for you. And I think that this is something that I'm not sure if she shared it in advance, but this was shared. This will be shared out. It has to be available on our website. You have an opportunity to take a look at it. Like I said, it's very lengthy. And due to the large number of metrics and actions, what she has done is curated some information from the report just to share with you a little bit about the organization of the report, and also to give a few highlights. And first, one of the elements is reporting on our budget overview for parents. I'm actually going to ask Mrs. Castro to come up and share a little bit about this slide.
Thank you, Dr. Gully. So you have over here in front of you a table that is comparing the total LCFF funding projected at budget adoption. This was part of the LCAP and presented in the budget overview for parents. So the total difference between the budget adoption amount in the last board approved budget, which is the first interim report presented in December, is about $130,000 difference. And the difference is represented by different factors, including the decrease in enrollment that you are aware that it happened. So that data was certified in December. So we had a decrease on the projection when the budget was adopted. It's a reminder that the deadlines for certain information to be available, it doesn't match when it doesn't align properly when we had to do some reporting. So you do the report first, and then you confirm other data, and you have to do some adjustments. So that's the difference, $130,000 between the two reporting periods. On the positive side, we did an adjustment on the enrollment, but consequently we had to do an adjustment on the 88 as well. But on the positive side is we did see an increase on the adds-on. It's an additional funding to take TK. The prior rate was $3,148,000 add-ons for ADA on TK. The new rate, it comes to $5,545. So that helps to mitigate the deficit or the fiscal impact on the decrease in enrollment and consequently the ADA projection. In addition to that, we have still under the same legality of being funded or whatever year is higher on funding or an ADA, in this case, is prior year. That's why the total impact is not as much as will be if we don't have these two other factors impacting the net of the difference between the two years, the two reports. The total LCFS supplemental, because we don't receive concentration, we're not there yet, is about $107,000. We did have a decrease in enrollment. In addition to that, we did have a decrease in unduplicated pupil counts from 1,122 to 978, and that's also reflected in the overall total LCFF funding that is listed right there. Now, these are not the final numbers, as you know, because we are funded on P2, the second principal apportionment report based on ADA, and that comes on April. So that's prepared on April. That's when we're going to have the final numbers on the total allocation for the district for this funding, which is the state funding, and that our major source of revenue to support our operation activities in the district. So that was it. Thank you. Back to Dr. Gully.
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Castro. Okay, so a few quick reminders. First, the structure of the LCAP. It's important to know that at this point in the school year, some metrics are unknown, some are in progress, and some are known. And so you will see that indicated throughout the document in that column. And similarly, LCAP expenditures and implementation, there might be some that haven't been started yet, depending upon when they're scheduled throughout the year. Some might be in progress and some might have already been completed. And an update on LCAP actions are shared with expenditures through the first interim budget update, okay? Now, the goals that we have in the LCAP are primarily, they have to be aligned to the 8 state priorities, and they're in 3 larger buckets. So the first goal is in that bucket of enabling conditions, and that goal is that we will ensure resource stewardship provides for a safe, secure, and dynamic environment where all learners belong and thrive. And for each goal, again, these are only snapshots, but for each goal, you will see a section on the metrics. You will see expected annual measurable objectives, and you can also see that there will be a metric, a baseline, and if there's any mid-year outcome data, it's going to be detailed in that column. Now, in this screenshot, what Dr. Pendleton wanted to point out, just as one of the metrics, is that there has been remarkable growth in the college and career indicator, and that's where students are identified as prepared according to metrics that the state looks at. And we have increased from 21.7% to 64.1% according to their metrics, which is a 42-point increase. That's more than tripling the number of graduates meeting rigorous readiness criteria. And A through G completion rates rose from 38% to 63% in just 2 reporting cycles. So that means that when we built this last year, that we've actually already exceeded our desired outcome of increasing CCI by 10%, but we're going to keep going. We also noticed that our student grades, this has been consistent. We show improvement from baseline measures while remaining relatively consistent with last year's outcomes. Our overall performance in ELA remained fairly stable. And the most encouraging indicator, I think, is that the all students group moved from 0.1 points below standard to 7.4 points above standard. And that represents real growth in overall proficiency, which is great. Math shows slight upward movement from last year. We know that this is an area where we're working to improve, but we're moving in the right direction, but still not quite there. She also wanted to point out that this year we've made a significant and intentional investment in high quality instructional materials. So you see a large amount there in the total funds budgeted and then the mid-year expenditures. And some of those that we wanted to highlight, we did have a pretty major investment in new mathematics elementary curriculum. And that includes manipulatives that are necessary for that curriculum. Also professional learning. And we have purchased a new reading screener, a universal reading screener, elementary handwriting curriculum, and a new secondary Spanish curriculum. So those are just some of the highlights there within that particular allocation. Now, goal 2, this is along the lines of engagement. So the larger bucket there is engagement. And goal 2 is that we'll foster a collaborative, trusting, and equitable culture among students, families, and all educational partners through intentional engagement that is creative and meaningful. And for this, a few things to highlight. We have really continued to make strong progress in reducing chronic absenteeism. You heard from some of our principals, this has been an intentional effort. We've moved from 19% to 12.5%. Remember, that's the correct direction. You want to go down in chronic absenteeism. And for our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, we moved from what they consider the red category at 26.2% to yellow at 15.4%, so that's improving. Bonsall Elementary improved from 28.6 to 18.6, which is a really good improvement. And their SED students declined from 39.2 to 24%. Again, in this area, a decline is good. To reach our 3-year goal of green at 10%, we're going to continue focused outreach, early intervention, and consistent attendance supports. And there are, similar to Goal 1, there will be actions and expenditures that will be highlighted. Here an example is, I think, some of the actions that are related to our English learner parent supports. Okay, this year, one addition, this is a little bit different. The state has required that we integrate what is called the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant funding that we're receiving into the LCAP. So they want it reported out to ensure transparency and alignment. We are in year 1 of a 3-year allocation of this Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. The year 1 funding allocation is $81,268, and that is supporting a school psychologist, our data platform that we're just engaging with, and also the elementary student leadership curriculum. And that is something that you will see each year for the next 2 years because it's a 3-year block grant that we're receiving. Now, our third goal, which the larger bucket of this one has to do with learner outcomes. Bonsall Unified will create high-quality, customized learning and assessment methods that will result in increased academic success and future readiness for every student. So that's our goal related to learner outcomes for the LCAP. And our metrics for this goal are varied. You have heard from some of them. You'll continue to hear our principals share outcomes and data with you through their principal reports primarily, but you can go through each of those in depth. And also our professional development is a good example of an expenditure and implementation related to this goal. Our professional development investments are aligned to those new instructional materials, and they really are focusing more on ongoing coaching. You heard the principals reference the Math Irvine project as an example, and that's something that we've been receiving a lot of wonderful feedback on from our teachers. They're enjoying the embedded coaching model that represents, and it's supporting implementation of the new Eureka Math Squared curriculum, which is very helpful. We also have professional development in Jane Schaefer, in Orton Gillingham. We need development of our universal reading screener, the CPI, which is the Crisis Prevention Institute. That's for positive behavior support, GLAD strategies, responsible AI use. It really does run the gamut. There's quite a bit in that, which is why you see a large allocation. And together with our new textbook adoptions, these efforts are intended to build teacher capacity and support improved outcomes in math, literacy, and school climate. So that is the format of the LCAP mid-year update. And this year, this is a 3-year cycle. So what Dr. Pendleton is now preparing is a series of LCAP forums, a launch of a survey where we ask for more information on the goals and the actions and the expenditures. She'll meet with DLAC, she'll meet with NLAC. We'll look at Superintendent's Advisory Committee, the Student Council, et cetera, to gather more input from educational partners. That feedback will help inform the revisions and updates, any updates that we may have for next year, since that's the 3rd year of the 3-year cycle. So any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. That's a lot of acronyms.
I know, and if there's any that you need me to spell out, unfortunately, my head is literally filled with them. Mm-hmm. Yes, I could speak to you in so many acronyms. And education, we do that a lot. I apologize.
I remember when we had our California School Boards Association training, there was literally a glossary, I swear it was this thick, of just all the alphabet soup as it relates to education.
Yes. That's District English Learner Advisory Committee and Native Learner Advisory Committee and Local Control Accountability Plan. Yes.
It's almost like a Florida language.
I know. It's taken me, this is year 31, so I have a lot of time to practice with them. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us to our second information item, which is a presentation. Caroline Brown, you are up for facilities planning update.
Thank you very much for having me. Gina, those flowers are very potent, and it's you have a different smell over here, just so that you know. No, that's fine. They're beautiful, and congratulations. So we are here for the update of the facilities planning for this month. I'm going to go over the workshop that we did on February 3rd, talk to you a little bit about some current and future ongoing tasks, and we have calendared a board workshop for March 10th, and we'll go over some of the agenda items for that. And then this is our grounding for our framework of the future. We already talked about that, so we'll just move right on. A review of the February 3rd board study session. We talked about Proposition 39 GO bonds, and we shared a timeline of tasks that need to be accomplished for meeting to the November 26th election or to the November 28th election. We need to gather a team of consultants. We need to talk with the San Diego Taxpayer Association and see what their requirements are. Identify a projects list and some cost estimates, which I believe we're going to dive into at the March meeting, and do some education and outreach, and then form the campaign committee. We do need to get our consultants team together. We already have a municipal advisor, and we are going to need to engage in bond counsel as the first two team members that we need to gather before the other ones we need to put together in order to do the full bond effort. We also had Angie come and talk about the 7, 8, 9, 12 configuration and what some of the challenges might be for a configuration like that. Intentional design considerations, some articulation, some coursework, age-appropriate socialization areas, etc. Then we also talked about the RFP that's out on the street for architects right now to give us a condition assessment of our West Lilac campus, along with some master planning for the site, a TK6, a 7-8, and a 9-12 as an option to add to that contract. We will be getting submissions by February 26th, and we'll be back to you for an authorization to go into a contract with them. We also summarized the focus group goals that we have established, the grade level configuration consistency district-wide, and in balancing enrollment across the elementary schools. We also engaged with a consultant on overview of public-private partnerships and how we might be able to engage in that particular code that allows us to do co-location of compatible entities. And then the board direction we received at that meeting last week was to go ahead and submit the letter of intent to SDCTA signed by Dr. Ghali, which has been completed. We're going to develop clear improvement plans, including a timeline prior to conducting any community survey to assess support, and that should say of a potential GO bond. And then to develop an education plan and explore all funding and partnership opportunities, and to prepare an economic analysis of the variety of the various public-private partnerships that might be out there to create an income stream for the district's facilities program. And we also need to determine the County of San Diego's development preferences and what the level of support would be for a development in the Bonsall area. And we will be conducting additional community outreach. So I'm going to back on that slide. Just a few other comments. Just wanted you to know that, oh no, not there. So the steps we've completed to date is we've got a lot of meetings under our belt with the Bonsall Advisory Committee and then the various focus groups we put together. We've engaged with an architect for evaluation of the Lilac site, and then we've scheduled multiple parent and community forums and trustee town hall meetings that are coming. So we have a lot of things that we've done over the last 18 months that are leading us up to making some big decisions. So underway, we need to continue gathering. We want to hear from everybody across the 88 square miles of Bonsall School District. We want to explore all funding opportunities, including public-private partnerships, balancing enrollment at the elementary, and reevaluating our district transfer trends and policies to assess current and projected student populations, identify school configuration options, educational specifications, and financial impacts. We've continuing the outreach. I've actually talked with the County of San Diego today about some of their development priorities for this area, as well as some commercial entities. I'm up to 9 so far this week. And then we do need to talk about procuring a bond consultant in the communications and voter survey area. And then I did receive the SDCTA application criteria, evaluation criteria this week, and that packet is very similar but a little bit more condensed. It will be due May 1st of this year. So as you know, since December, we've engaged with someone who can help us figure out whether we can do the public-private partnership. And then we revisited in December, the staff revisited the table of configuration options that we originally put together in 2023, and it's gone through a few renditions and versions through December of 25. So what we'd like to do in the next couple of weeks is bring that configuration options back to the table and marry it with and have the options laid out so that we can have some discussion about what our options are at the March meeting. And then I already mentioned that we received the direction last week to reach out to some firms to see if there was any partnership opportunities, having conversations with lots of people around the community about that. And it's being received positively and kind of, oh, well, let's explore some more. So we've got a couple more meetings coming up on the books for that. Any discussion items at this point before we move forward? Okay. Any additional items that you would like to discuss at the March 10th meeting? If we do the deep dive into configurations, what other kinds of items do you think we would like to surface at that meeting?
I think from what I've been hearing from the board workshop and as we're moving forward that, and I agree with Trustee Merchat, and we've said it before, that we need a clear plan to communicate. So we need to have a high-level vision of where the district is looking to go long-term and what the steps are that are necessary to achieve that long-term vision. So as you talked about, if you can maybe go back a slide to, oops,
did I do that?
Under the steps underway, sorry. Maybe not that far back.
Go down the other way.
It was
Slide
the second
16
to last
or
slide.
something?
This
Slide 10, 11. It just went by too fast. 11, no, 10.
One more back.
Yeah.
There we go. I see under there, identifying school configuration options, educational specifications, and financial impacts. I think that that's the area we're still most vague on in terms on how, you know, even as at a board level before even presenting it community-wide. And I think that that would be very helpful to have more details.
Yeah, I think if we
options.
take time to look at the configuration options with the light of education specifications, like what do we want? What does a high school need to be? What size does it, what do we need to size it as? What relationships do the buildings all have? And then be able to take that and plop it basically anywhere, so just so that we can set the education goals in the education program. And then we can move into the tougher discussions of where and the financial impacts.
I think that would be great.
Okay. That's what.
And I think we also, also need to start thinking about, as we're developing, what does this look like? What is the phasing by which this needs to happen, as we start looking at where does this need to happen? So, we need to be mindful that there's a broader lens of detail that needs to happen as it relates to, the financial implications and just the overarching impact to the 88 square miles at large.
Yes, thank you.
Do we need to take a formal vote for that, or is that sufficient?
I think that's, if we're okay, we'll just proceed with that. And if something comes up, we can make adjustments.
Great.
So we have our regular slide of all the engagement that's coming up. Looking forward to being here on February 26th with Dr. Dombrowski for the Bonsall West. That'll be fun.
Is that here or is it Bonsall West?
It'll be at Bonsall West.
Okay.
Yeah. And then all the other town halls and some of the other meetings, the coffee with the superintendent, the other staff meetings, other site meetings are going to all be determined after we get through all of the town halls, because we're going to have quite a good meeting schedule coming forward. And then if you have on your calendar the March 10th. And then the other thing we want to discuss with you on March 10th is the survey data. We have a couple hundred responses right now. We're continuing to disseminate on a broader audience. We're analyzing the open-ended questions. There was quite a bit of narrative to go through there. And then we would like to do some preliminary survey results on March 10th, knowing that that's going to be preliminary because we're not done with the town halls yet. And then we'll close that survey after the town halls. And then that we just talked about that other discussion activity. Yeah.
So as it relates to the survey data, 244 responses is getting close to that sweet spot of 300, which you're looking at a 95% confidence interval, generally speaking, statistically. But that being said, it would be nice to make sure that we are garnering as much community voice as possible. To that end, can you give a little more detail as to what groups we've reached out to in order to make sure that we're representing the district at large in terms of disseminating that survey?
Dr. Gawley, do you want to do the work?
So far we have disseminated to staff and to all of our families, and on social media, and a lot of people are helping to spread that. I know that we're starting to look for other avenues. I shared it, for example, with Rotary this morning. And if we have more ideas for other groups that would be helpful in disseminating, I would love to hear more ideas. We also are compiling a list of HOA contacts, and we have a good list, I think, so far. And we're just trying to double check because some of them I think are a little outdated. But we're sending to HOAs and asking them if they could please send to any of their email distribution lists, because it is a challenge to get to people who don't have students connected to the schools. So trying to go as broad as possible.
Are those HOAs being cooperative? And can you maybe give me a list of what those HOAs are? Awesome.
What I can do is, since we have a good start so far, I could share it with the board. And if you have other HOAs that you're aware of, definitely, please share.
Well, isn't there also, what are those, is it Nextdoor? Isn't that what that community that's online where it connects people within a certain geographic area? Like, for example, like everybody within a certain radius in my house, you could say, oh, there's a dog on the street, or, that kind of stuff. I'm sure a lot of people in our community have Nextdoor, and I think if we could somehow either, find the people who have the access to that, they could post on their Nextdoor and about stuff like that too, just to get, community, awareness up.
And to that end, I know that we're talking about putting it on I would imagine Bonsall Unified School District Facebook page and whatnot, but there's also HOAs that have their own groups. If we have access to, because people are already online, to be able to click on a survey, that would be great.
Yes, I already shared to our 3 Facebook groups, both the town hall and the survey. So And people are always posting on there about kids on their e-bikes. So hopefully they'll take a minute to look at the survey.
And then this was just the list of what we just talked about, so we'll just skip over that. We don't need to watch the video again, right? And then in conclusion, we're going ahead and putting all of these presentations up on the website so that people can read the history.
And that's just the history for the last 18 months. There's some of us who've been working on this for a decade or more. Thank you. It's a lot of work. Dr. Gully wanted to clap. We should clap. We're getting tired. Facilities is an exhausting topic. That brings us to our action items for the evening. Action item 9.1. This is a resolution 26-02-01 authorizing the execution of the joint exercise of powers agreement for the establishment of the Bonsall Unified School District Rainbow Municipal Water District Joint Powers Financing Authority. And I'd like to go ahead and motion to approve this.
I'll second it.
Oh, do we want to do it before we approve it, or do we want to do it after we approve it? So, or assuming we approve it after we vote for it. So, do we have any questions that we want to ask of our guests that are in the audience before we vote on this item?
They've been waiting a long time.
They have been.
Come
Thank you.
up with a question if you don't have one.
We've got is it CEO or is your title? It's Jake Wiley, General Manager and a board member with Lisa Hoffman. So thank you so much for being here. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So thank you very, very much for being here. We're super excited. I absolutely want to bring you both up to the podium, and if you can just share a little bit more. I know this has been a really important collaborative discussion that we've been having between our agencies, and I'd love for all of us to get on the same page as to what this exactly means. So,
okay,
thank you.
That's great. Thank you for having me. First, I just want to thank Dr. Gawley, your support consultants. I mean, it's really a dynamic team that we've been working with for quite a while, and it's been really a great collaboration. I also appreciate the board approving that. I was saying for considering it. I was assuming, but that's great. I think this is a unique partnership. I think a lot of people would look at it as a very unique partnership, but we share a lot in common. You talked about a 85 square mile boundary. Is that what I heard? 88. We're 85. Sorry, I mixed them up. Our geographically, we're almost aligned, right? The folks that we serve. So I think that in itself, when it comes to development projects and things like that, kind of puts us in the same boat, right? We're all working on the same things. And another thing, I think, you can look at it a lot of different ways, but we also have tremendous facilities needs at the water district, both our administrative facilities and 350 miles of buried pipeline that needs to be replaced, and 13 pump stations and reservoirs and all those kind of things. I think we might be a little bit more under the radar on the facilities needs, but they're certainly still great. And I think probably the biggest thing we share in common, I'm the general manager of the water district, but I don't commute here. I live in your school district. I'm a ratepayer of my own water district. And so I think the biggest thing is I think we all share this big overarching goal of serving our community, not just well, but extremely well, right, with excellence. And so I think this kind of, all those things have kind of made this where we went, well, this is a unique partnership, but it actually really fits. I think it really fits. I think as far as just the nuts and bolts of what we're talking about here, I think we've got some really good items in there. Having two members of each, the district and the school district making up the board, I think it makes sure we're aligned, right? We're aligned on everything going forward. So I think that was a really good thing as part of this agreement. And I know we've all been through kind of these CFD formations and things where it probably didn't feel quite like a partnership, or collaborative, and I think this actually forces it, right? Brings more local control and kind of brings that. So I think that's great. I also love the schedule flexibility. We're going to schedule monthly meetings, but we can cancel them when we don't need them. We're not going to probably meet monthly on these, but there will be some activity, I think, especially here in the beginning. Again, I just want to thank you. I think this is really the start of something. I think it incrementally starts to address the challenges that we both have. And I think we all want to hit a home run, right? The guy that fell down and didn't realize he had hit a home run.
That's a great story.
But I think sometimes we got to load the bases first, right? And I think that's what we're doing here. So again, thank you. I do have Director Hoffman with me. She represents Division 1, which is Bonsall. So I appreciate her coming. She's part of this partnership. We're all part of this partnership. So anyways, thank you. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. But yeah, appreciate the partnership.
Are there any questions for?
Well, I wanted to say that I read up on it and I looked into the history and stuff, and I was already sold on it by the time we walked in the door here. So, I was just waiting for anybody else if they had any questions, but I think we're all in agreement that this is a nice thing, so. If you have
Help me help you.
And then he likes my story. He likes my story too, so that was going to sell it too.
And one of the things that comes up in planning and land use discussions, especially you can see it at the Bonsall Community Sponsor Group level, is that there has historically been a discussion in our community, in the rural outlying communities of San Diego County in general, that a lot of times there's development that comes into our areas without the infrastructure in place to support it. And I see this type of partnership being very instrumental in making sure that we have the infrastructure scaffolding in place to actually, be working towards having what we need as a community internally to support our people that are already here as well as those that are coming, rather than trying to react to the development that we have to make sure that we're accommodating. So I'm very grateful that there's such wonderful discussion and partnership, and I'm looking forward to trying to be a little bit more proactive as a community to meet the needs of everyone involved. So
yeah, excellent. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And that brings us to action item 9.2. This is the California State Employees Association, the CSEA Bonsall chapter number 703, the Sunshine Articles for 2025-2006 negotiations with Bonsall Unified School District.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Following that, also with the CSCA, this is the District Sunshine Articles for 25-26 negotiations with CSCA Association and the Bonsall Chapter 703.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.4. This is the resolution 26-02-02 for classified employees reduction in force for the 2026-27 school year.
Just a couple things. Kind of what we talked about was that these employees would get priority for full-time within the realm of what the agreements are, but that if they leave at the end of the school year, that they don't have to take the demotion, that we will make it so they can get unemployment if that's what they desire. And also if we can look to help them navigate the healthcare issue with, let's say, Covered California.
Yes, we will do everything we can within the law to support employees if they do in fact leave our school district.
Right.
Yes.
Or even if they stay and they take the,
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.5. This is the Bonsall Unified School District Comprehensive School Safety Plan, the CSSP, for school year 2025-26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.6. This is the Memorandum of Understanding between Santa Clara County Office of Education and Bonsall Unified School District for the Behavioral Health Bridge Grant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to action item 9.7, the 2025 Bonsall Unified School District Independent Auditors Report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Action item 9.8. This is the MOU between BUSD and CSEA for special education data and compliance specialist position.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our last action item for today. This is Board Policy 1313, civility.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our public comment portion of our meeting. Ms. McInerney, do we have anybody here to speak on any of our topics that are not on the agenda? In which case, this brings us to future planning. We've had a rather detailed and extensive calendar that was presented as it relates to facilities. So there's lots and lots of meetings that people in the community can come and learn more about what we're looking to accomplish as it relates to land use. Other than that, specifically, we have Trustee Dombrowski in Area A, who will be holding a town hall at Bonsall West Elementary School on Thursday, February 26th at 5 p.m. There's also a special board workshop planned for Tuesday, March 10th at 4 p.m. in the Bonsall Community Center, and that's preceding the Bonsall Community Sponsor Group that same evening if anyone's interested. And there is an open seat on that board if anyone is interested in that. And the next regular meeting of the Bonsall Unified School District Governing Board of Trustees, it will be held on Thursday, March 12th at the Bonsall Community Center, closed session 4:30, open session 6 p.m. And with that, we are adjourned at 8:32. Thank you everybody for being here. Happy Valentine's Day and happy Year of the Fire Horse.